All right, so picture this with me. You're walking down a busy street on the sidewalk. A lot of people walk in left and right of you, and you see someone either having a conversation with someone else that they're walking with, or they're on the phone, but they're having a conversation with somebody. And the only snippet of information you hear is, "Yeah, and then my dog swallowed my favorite teeth." How would you react to that? How often are we hearing some just absolutely bizarre conversations and things like that happening around us? Because I feel like for me, it's happening quite a bit. And maybe that's just because I'm hearing voices in my head, and maybe it's not actually people around me. I'm not entirely sure. But my coworker goes by the name of Michael, has come up with some good sayings and phrases over the years. That last one that I said, being one of them, as well as yesterday, we're in line at Firehouse Subs. We are uh, waiting to order when it sounds like the vehicle is being hit with snowballs. And there's a little bird in front of us who is digging through the snow. And this bird, every time it would lift his head, we would hear another snowball hit the vehicle. Long story short, we found that snow was just falling off the roof of Firehouse Subs and landing on the vehicle. Um, but as this was happening, Michael said, "I've been a friend of the avian species for many years." Now, you might not be laughing at that, but just in the moment, as we're thinking that this bird is somehow causing the vehicle to be hit by snowballs, rather than saying, "I like birds," simply put, we lengthened it out to, "I've been a friend of the avian species for many years." And to be quite honest, I about peed my pants when I heard that person. And a big part of of why I laughed as hard as I did is you got to hear his delivery of it. So maybe someday we'll get him on here and we'll have him deliver some of his better lines. So let's get into some. This morning, while I was relaxing, I was just going through my Instagram feed, and good old Mr. Joe Biden popped up on my feed, and he is signing lawn signs of his face with the like him with the sunglasses. And he's talking about how he's signing these, and then they're gonna go add them to, like, the stock so that as people order these, um, they'll just go out randomly to different people. I just wanna know who's excited to get that, they first of all, who's ordering a lawn sign of Joe's face? And I'm not using this as, like, a political thing, I just don't wanna put anyone's face on my lawn. Definitely not Joe Biden's. But we have Joe Biden sending these things out, so obviously someone's buying them. Who's opening these and just giddy with excitement, like, "Yes, Joe Biden signed this one. This is what I wanted for Christmas." I don't know, but he seemed stoked on the idea, so, I didn't wanna be the bearer of bad news, so we're just gonna let him go with it, see what happens. So, the other night, the Chicago Bulls were going to introduce some of the players from the Jordan era. Well, they were introducing the team, I apologize, into the Ring of Honor from like the Jordan era. And there's a couple issues with that. First, we'll start with the one that I probably know the least about. And that's that the fans were booing Jerry Krause's wife. So, for those of you who don't know who Jerry Krause is, he was like the general manager of the Bulls in the Jordan era. He's the one who's in charge of going and acquiring players and coaches and all of that kind of stuff. So he's kind of the one who's responsible for getting Jordan and Pippen and Dennis Rodman and Steve Kerr and a few others, and keeping them there. Phil Jackson as well. And a lot of people don't like him because they think that it was Jerry Krause's fault that Phil Jackson left, and that kind of brought upon the end of that era of the Bulls. And whether you feel that way or not, like the organization is inducting that group into their Ring of Honor. And the fans, rather than booing that piss poor team that they currently have, they're gonna boo the wife of the guy who has passed away since. So it was his widow who was out there. They're booing her for showing up for like celebrating her husband's work. And again, whether you feel like he was the cause of the fall of all of that doesn't matter. He was also the reason that there was a fall in the first place, that they were high enough to fall. So I think that was pretty classless from the city of Chicago. I mean, like, I don't know, but maybe more classless than that was Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, and Dennis Rodman not showing up. Like, between those 3 guys, like, they were kind of the faces of the organization during that time, and they couldn't be bothered with their former team inducting them into their Ring of Honor. Like, I don't know, like, that is just such a weak move, and to be quite honest, I held Michael Jordan, I think, in, regard for greatest of all time, but for him to skip out on something like that where they're honoring his work alongside the work of his teammates, and for him not to show up, uh, I think that I think I have now dethroned Michael Jordan in my personal, you know, list of all-time greats. He's still up there just because of his contribution to the game of basketball, but I can't hold him in regard for best of all time or greatest of all time. So, anyways, Michael, if you're ever gonna listen to this, dude, you owe the city of Chicago a better explanation than sending in a video. We're gonna shift gears just a little bit. Let's go to the Golden Globes. So my wife and I watched probably the first maybe 20 minutes of it. And I understand that hosting the Golden Globes is not an easy job. And it really, another podcast that I was listening to, Correct Opinions with Trey Kennedy, they were kind of talking about it. And it's one of those things where it is such high risk. And even if you were to go out and absolutely do the best job anyone's ever done, there's like no reward in that. So I don't know. I don't feel like it's worth risking your career, but let's talk about hosting the Golden Globes and Mr. Joe Coy, who, you know, definitely has like Asian features. And, I think I think he identified as an Asian on screen, which good for him. And then as I was looking him up today to kind of do a little bit of research into him, his name is Joseph Glenn Herbert. Maybe 3 of the widest names I've ever heard in my life. So, I don't know. We'll we'll let him answer to that. Um, but anyways, his jokes were just awful. They really were. And it's hard because, like, I do believe that he's, did have no time to prepare for this. I do believe that they called him, a week before the Golden Globes and was like, "Please do this." But dude, you got to have better jokes than that, because to be quite honest, maybe bigger than like the bombs in Oppenheimer, which he also joked about, was him bombing on stage, calling out Taylor Swift, Barbie, Oppenheimer. And I understand you want to make jokes at the expense of things that are relevant so that everybody understands where you're coming from, but they just were terrible. They were so bad. So you'll never see me host the Golden Globes. Never in a million years. Not because I don't want to. They'll never ask, but even in the 1% chance they did, I'm definitely walking away from that one. Um, in other news, this one's been kind of burning through headlines lately, but Aaron Rodgers calling out Jimmy Kimmel for being on Epstein's list. That's a whole crazy thing. Long story short, like I just said, Aaron Rodgers, quarterback for the Jets, and I guess maybe Epstein professional, Epstein expert, called out Jimmy Kimmel for being on the list, even though he wasn't, I don't think. But essentially saying that Kimmel had ties to Epstein and spent a lot of time out there on his island. And whether he did or didn't doesn't affect my life in the slightest. Um, but it's interesting. And whether he did or didn't isn't going to affect whether or not I watch him because I don't. I don't watch a whole lot of Jimmy Kimmel, so I think he's funny, but I'm not watching him all that frequently, so I think he'll be fine. But what is funny is yesterday being the 12th of January, Daniel Tosh released an 8-minute podcast episode on his podcast, The Tosh Show, and said something that I resonated with. So if we take a side-by-side comparison right now of Aaron Rodgers and Jimmy Kimmel, and we compare the two of them, not only on their looks, but what we know about them, and, put it in the perspective of one of these two has to watch my kids, there's a pretty obvious answer at who you're not going to let watch your kids. You know, Jimmy Kimmel looks like your typical, night show host, typical like on-air personality. And then you have Aaron Rodgers, who has the pedophile mustache, who talks about going and doing all these crazy excursions for shrooms and other things. And it's like, I just want to be like, Aaron, dude, you got to cool it, brother, because if anyone was going out to Epstein's Island, it's you. And Daniel Tosh does a better job of delving into Aaron Rodgers' past. And so, like, it definitely makes you a little more suspicious of Aaron Rodgers and why he's starting to throw out names. So, if you're interested in knowing what that is, go listen to the Tosh Show. And then to end this episode, um, back in December, my father-in-law, my wife, and my brother-in-law, we all sat down around the table and discussed some predictions for the 2024 year, some of which we're starting to kind of see come to fruition. So let's see how the rest of them play out. But let's transition to that clip, and I'll see you guys next week. You're Alone with Trey Schneider. Sounds kind of creepy when you think about it.
Are we on?
That's why I liked it.
Yeah.
I like it too. It almost sounds like a threat.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what I want people to think, is that weekly I'm bringing a new threat to them.
Like, you are alone, you're stuck.
You're alone.
Listen to my thoughts.
That's actually a good way to put it. You're alone with my thoughts. Because you guys are already used to your own. That could be a good one. But I like You're Alone with...
That could be a segment.
That could be a segment. You're alone with my thoughts, and
Yeah.
I just talk about
Like, what dominated my thoughts this week?
That'd be a good segment.
What's my Roman Empire this week?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's why I like to listen to podcasts, so I stop thinking my own thoughts,
Yeah.
honestly.
And it gets you into, like, new niches sometimes, too, which is fun.
Yeah. But I think I'll start encouraging people to listen to their own thoughts instead of mine by the end of this.
That's a good idea. That is a really good idea. I like this.
So for a very first segment here, I have some guests on. To my left, we have
Tally.
my wife, Tally.
Colby.
We have Colby. And then, do you want to hand Joe the mic while he's taking a selfie of us? B-reel. Oh, it's a B-reel.
We take a lot of B-reels.
Yep.
We're in it, guys.
All right.
I think we're pretty good looking.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
So...
And I'm Joe.
Joe, you guys, I mean, you should recognize everyone if you're a frequent listener to the network that I currently have, the Tender Mercy Studios network. But anyways, I brought them on because we're going to do a little bit of predictions, if you will, for the year of 2024. So we're all getting our phones out for those of us that wrote them down.
I'm also going to print your podcast out. I'm going to do another selfie.
Okay.
And put it on. Very, very popular.
Joe's taking a selfie to put on the Slack. Hide my mouth behind the microphone while I was talking, but like made my eyes look like I was smiling. All right, and George is going to get in, or wants to. Okay. get into my notes here. Does anyone have one that they're particularly excited about?
Oh, you talking about the
Predictions
I do have
to
some
start
good
us off.
ones. I do have some good ones.
Okay. Can we get that door closed? But yeah, so Joe now has a prediction that he is excited about. He says he has some good ones.
Are we gonna go like one at a time or?
Yeah, let's go one at a time around the
Okay.
table.
Okay.
And then we'll recap them all at the end.
Okay.
Okay. I predict that Kaya's nightmare of her junior high existence teacher retires by next year.
Okay. Name dropped her. Got her. All right. Kaya, by the way, is Joe's daughter. My
Who's in
sister-in-law.
the horrible stage of junior high life?
Yeah, that's rough. All right, Colby.
Okay, I have a few on here. I didn't get 12. I
Okay.
couldn't think of 12. These aren't personal to my life. No, I couldn't think of 12.
No, that's good. We're trying like sort of not to do personal to your life.
Okay.
So it's a little more.
Yeah,
like-
actually,
here-
almost none of these are personal to my life.
thing. I'll start with the one I think is least likely to happen.
Okay.
Taylor Swift flop album.
Ooh.
Wow.
She's.
Do we think she's too in
least
love?
likely?
I think that one's least likely to happen. No,
Okay.
I think she's so big right now, and she's never flopped really ever.
Yeah.
So I mean, like certain songs, whatever. But she's never flopped
Yeah.
really. So it's bound to happen someday. Maybe this year.
Maybe this year.
Maybe.
My first one is that Dua Lipa releases a new album this year,
Oh.
which would be fun.
All right. I'm going to take mine to the more serious.
Those are serious.
No, like this is political.
Oh.
So an independent candidate receives a record number of votes in this year's presidential election. However, Joe Biden still wins the presidency and remains in office.
I don't think that's too crazy.
I just think that so many people are getting fed up with the two-party system that
Or at
somebody
least
who,
those two people.
yeah, well, and I think that somebody who probably resonates more with one of those two parties is just going to more like register as an independent and run independently, but it's still hard to it's about impossible to win not running for one of those two parties.
Okay.
All right. Let's get back to pop culture.
Okay. Pop culture. I'm going to predict, and this is my sad one, that my favorite frontman of all time, who fronted what started heavy metal, and they call him the Prince of Darkness, dies.
Ozzy.
Ozman.
I actually predicted that for 2023. But
Well, I knew you'd live, but
oh,
Joe has some
24,
insider information.
later, dude. I'm just kidding. Ozzy, you are the man. This is no disrespect.
It's just he's getting up there in age and
He's got Parkinson's.
he's got Parkinson's.
You know.
Yeah. All right.
Well, I'm actually back to politics. Donald Trump divorce.
Ooh.
That would just be so fun.
yeah.
But
Plus,
you know what? It looks like that's happening.
I was gonna say I feel like it might have already happened,
Just-
but it's
No,
like
actually, I do think that there is something like that right now in the works. 'Cause
I've
she's
heard
been
that-
seen.
yeah, I've
she-
heard that people are always like Melania Trump's seen here, Melania Trump's seen here. It's been months
comes
without
out that
Trump.
they've been divorced for like 2 years. Like
Ooh, that
officially.
would be
That would
wild.
be crazy.
Yeah. All right, Tal.
Okay, I'll do another serious one because you guys did. I don't know how to do this with the microphone. This is so hard. Okay. Some act or law or something passes for a new affordable housing program due to crazy rent prices, and I think there will be like record number of homeless people. So like something government wise is like passed or some type of budget or something to make more affordable housing because it's wild.
That's not a prediction. That's a wish.
Yeah. Also, yeah.
It's a
that.
wish. All right. So mine's this one. I feel like this is going to happen, not necessarily for any particular reason other than I feel like this community is starting to get pissed off, and that is that Marvel starts to bring back the OG Avengers. I think that they have experimented with moving on, new phases, and I think that they're finding that most people aren't loving these new Avengers, and for no reason other than they hate women, maybe, or people of color. I'm not entirely sure.
But the thing is, these characters are Marvel characters. It's
Yeah.
not like they're making people up.
No, but it's not Iron Man. It's not
Yeah.
Captain America. And what do
I
they
guess
have in
the thing
common?
is, if they care,
White male.
if they care more about like the comics themselves and like who wrote them, not Spike Lee, what's his name? Stanley.
Yeah.
Then they'll probably just write it out. But I guess
Yeah.
if it is more of like a fan base thing and not like hardcore fans, then yeah, they'll.
I had 2 Marvel predictions actually. Marvel Disney Plus shows canceled, like future ones.
Yeah.
Not canceled, like they stopped production on them.
Yeah.
And then Disney, I guess this is Disney in general. They use AI within Disney Plus for like background characters or whatever, and they have controversy over that. I think that's happening because everyone is, sick of Marvel at this point.
I've actually kind of heard that already about AI characters.
I heard stuff about that
and
too.
I've heard it about models as well, like campaigns and stuff are doing like AI. Like I saw something the other day and it was like remember that one robot a few years ago, that like female robot that
Yep.
got all popular, who was fake? She got popular on like Instagram. They're doing that with models now, and there was like a fake one the other day answering questions or something, and
Dang.
people were I mean I think it's weird, so I don't know.
Scary.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just think that like these people, they want to see the OG Marvel Avengers, and it's like, obviously, like Tally said, the comics are like a timeline, so there's consistently new characters coming and going, and so if you're truly one of the like comic aficionados, if you really care about Marvel, you'll just enjoy what Marvel's putting out. Other than maybe Thor 3, because that one was rough.
Yeah.
That was a little bit too much a stand-up for me, if you catch
Or
my
4.
drift.
Yeah, that was 4.
Or 4, yeah. God of Thunder, whatever one that one was. All right, Joe, what's your next one?
All right, I'll have a prediction in technology.
Ooh.
We keep seeing this new Cybertruck, the Tesla. You always see it on videos and stuff. I don't think we'll see that as much as, but I think the highways will be overtaken, like much more than you would think with the Tesla semi trucks. You guys will start seeing those.
Did you hear about the recall on Teslas?
I didn't.
Like just maybe 2-3 days. I don't know what it was.
With that truck?
No, not with the truck. It's with the like. I can't remember some self-driving thing. They recalled like 12,000 of them.
No, I didn't see that. But this one, I'm just predicting you start seeing the highways. I watched some videos with that new. I don't know why, if you were a company, you wouldn't invest in the Tesla semi truck if you're in the trucking business. It's crazy what they can pull. I watched a Cheetos pull. But anyway, that's my prediction for, I guess, business and technology.
Minecraft boycott.
Ooh.
Why?
Explain that.
So everyone's really mad at Minecraft right now. Big Minecraft fans this is honestly probably just going to happen. I mean, that's what a prediction is, but
I really
it's
think
already
this is gonna
happening in a way. So Minecraft will say, okay, we're doing a new update, and they do this big community thing where it's like, we're doing a mob vote. You can pick between 3 mobs. The community votes will add 1 into the game. You can't see who gets what votes or anything. It's really highly speculated. They just pick whichever one they want to put in, and then they put like 1 mob into the game, which is like animal or monster or whatever, and that's it. That's all they'll do, and everyone's really mad because they're like, you're like one of the biggest games in the world right now,
and ever.
And consistently.
It came out so many years ago, and they refuse to do big updates anymore. They refuse to do much of anything, and everyone's like, we can have people just on their computers making mods.
Sorry, guys.
And they'll put out more content than Minecraft will put into their game every year.
Yeah.
Do they have like whoever makes Minecraft have another like video game that they're
A few
working
others.
on? Like a bigger one?
No, they're all other Minecraft projects like Minecraft Dungeons and all that. So, everyone's really mad at Minecraft right now.
Okay.
All right. Well,
Minecraft
I
fan.
have a technology one. It's holographic technology finally becomes cool and relevant, like all the movies and TV have predicted for the future. Like it. Speaking of like Marvel, they would always show like, Iron Man and Bruce Banner and like all them like playing with like holographic versions and things like 3D holographic whatever.
Oh, like when they're
versions of-
designing their
Yeah.
hands
when they're
up in the air,
designing
they're throwing
stuff, and then obviously like in old 80s 90s
Star
movies
Wars.
and TVs.
Star Wars.
They
Yeah,
communicate through that.
exactly. So I think that maybe someone will kind of start to, and I think what inspires it, which I know this isn't the same thing, but what will inspire it is that Las Vegas sphere.
Oh, yes. Oh, here's my fun one coming off that. Presidential election, someone can't make it to the debate, so they're hologrammed in. That would be
Oh, okay,
sick.
yeah, that would be cool.
And then the controversy, so it's say it's Biden. And then the
Oh.
controversy is like, it's just a pre-recorded message because he couldn't stand up there or something.
Yeah.
Or he would never say that. He would never say that. That's not him.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he actually does good or something.
Yeah, he
and-
does like great, but he's a hologram, so everyone's like, that was AI.
Yeah.
All right. Well, kind of along that vein, going back to Mr. Trump, Donald Trump gets acquitted of everything. However, shortly after being acquitted, he gets arrested for something that is completely unrelated and is like undeniable. Like they get him and they throw him in jail.
And it's like weird out of left field.
Yeah, like completely unrelated to everything else.
Shoplifting.
Yeah, like it's nothing to do with women or business
Yeah.
or.
Like some petty crime, but it like serves time and like they caught him in the act. So yeah, he goes away.
All right. I'll do a sports one. I predict when it comes to baseball that someone out of the National League wins the World Series. I think the Diamondbacks barely make the wild card and are out in the wild card, and Atlanta Braves win the whole thing.
Really?
There you are.
Okay.
Don't forget that, Braves.
Kanye West tour.
But only in the Middle East.
Yeah.
And you don't see any celebrities at it because no one wants to risk that.
All right. Tally.
Okay, I'm gonna just do one of my death ones. I think Dick Van Dyke dies. I just realized the other day that he's still alive, so I think he's
98
gonna die.
years old. We looked it up
Whoa.
last night.
I bet there's like a percentage you can see of like 98-year-olds, how likely will they die within the next year, and it's like 90% or something.
All right. I'm gonna do two of these. They're unrelated, but they're both like pop culture / sports. First one, Tom Brady comes back out of retirement for one season, but he's only gonna play for either the LA Rams or the Seattle Seahawks while they're in the transition period for a new quarterback. So, like for example, if Caleb Williams doesn't declare for the draft this year, decides to go one more year at USC, maybe the Seahawks say we got to move on from Geno Smith, or like LA Rams, I think are starting to want to look for other options. They might, let Tom Brady come on, get him through a year, and then they draft Caleb Williams. And then my second one is that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce get engaged in 2024. However, it's in secret. Nobody knows. We'll find out about July or August of 2025.
Okay.
I like that. Dad,
So-
do you have any more?
Well, what? Just predictions? Yeah. Off the top of my head,
Might want to speak into the mic.
I'm gonna predict that
Pulls the Caleb Lyman and whistles into the mic.
oh, whistle while you work. Okay, I predict that my niece Gabby announces she's pregnant, even though I've heard she didn't want to have a kid or whatever. I predict Gabby's going to be pregnant by next November.
Okay.
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 Congrats, Gabby. And you have to take out the teacher's name. I've decided.
Yeah, no, I
For
will.
sure.
Yeah, no, I definitely will.
I don't want to get Kaya.
Yeah.
I don't want. I just thought no repercussions for Kaya.
Oh, and actually, just so everyone knows, we're making these predictions. It is December 16th at 8 o'clock exactly right now
Yeah.
of 2023.
I only have a few more.
Yeah, we'll let's each do two more. We'll do
all
two
right.
more.
Okay.
I'll do my 2. TikTok lawsuit. I don't know the specifics. It'll just happen
It always has.
somewhere. And Fortnite becomes the most played video game because it's on track.
Yeah.
Okay. I think Drew Barrymore and Adam Sandler are gonna do one more like rom-com together, just for old time's sake.
Okay.
Isn't her career a little too good for that? I'm just kidding.
Adam
Just
Sandler's career is good.
Yeah.
now.
No, he's
I feel like
getting
he
better.
fell off, but he's back on.
Yeah, no, he's coming back.
Have you heard about his new Netflix movie, Leo, the animated one? I haven't seen
Oh,
it.
I've heard it did
lizard
really
one.
I heard it was
good.
really good.
The lizard one.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it because we don't have Netflix, but
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I won't support those communists. I'm just kidding. I don't think there's anything saying that they are.
Netflix canceled.
Netflix
2024.
canceled. Yeah, that's a prediction. Did you have a second one you wanted to do?
Oh, yeah. Kourtney Kardashian fully leaves like the Kardashian family, the show, and everything, and writes a tell-all. Specifically
cool.
about Kim, because
Specifically that her dad's OJ.
no, that's Kourtney.
Oh.
But yeah, she's gonna write a tell-all and leave the show. And
That Courtney's dad is OJ.
That'd be insane. That's
Yeah.
a wish too.
oh, it totally.
That's a wish.
A lot of these are, besides like the death, a lot of these are wishes.
Yeah.
All right. So I'll do one serious one, and then I'll do a joke. I wrote a prediction that's like definitely not going to happen, but it would just be funny if it did. This one's a wish as well. National student debt gets forgiven up to 50% for each student making under $75,000, and that the government then starts to talk about regulations concerning tuition and other university costs. Just I think we as a nation are struggling to get educated people, and not because we're stupid. I mean, I think that there's part of that, but I think that we are just mainly like struggling by not helping out our college level students, and trying to put too much onto them. We're making admissions way too hard and difficult to get into, and then
Well,
even
not
when
just
they
to get into, but it costs just to freaking
apply.
put in.
Yeah. So I think that the government is going to eventually have to get involved at some point and say, like, enough is enough. Like, we need educated people. And, while, like, there are good trade jobs, like, I think that we're relying too much on people starting at the bottom and working their way through,
Yeah.
which is also very good, but it's also good to have, like, an education background and
Yeah, like we
it's
need
able
just
to
as many
get for
tradesmen as we
everybody.
need like college educated people. It
Yeah.
all will balance out and make, everyone better.
So that's my serious one. And then my my joke is that Saturday Night Live announces a spin-off show called WMR, Wednesday Morning Replay, but it doesn't last very long. It gets canceled pretty quick. They stop airing it. They try to do like a second show. Lorne Michaels gets a little too greedy with what he's got going on, and whatever it is that he puts out flops.
Is Lorne Michaels like old enough to die?
Hey Siri,
Anyone's old enough to die.
how old is Lorne Michaels?
To die and it wouldn't be tragic.
He's
Lorne
78
Michaels is 79 years old.
or 79. There we go.
Okay, yeah, definitely.
I don't know if the mic caught Siri there, but he's 79.
Wow.
All right. Well, there's others, and just know that we, like The Simpsons, can and will predict the future. So, if any of these happen, what's the prize? If any of these actually do come true?
Another guest appearance on Trey's podcast.
Now I think it's because I'm weak sauce. Now I'm worried that my niece is gonna be insulted by my prediction.
I don't think she'll care.
I don't think no.
I doubt she'll even hear it.
I was say, I
Yeah.
doubt she'll ever hear this unless it happens. In which case, then I will post this
It was
audio to
never
Slack.
meant to be insulting to anybody. Blah blah blah.
Except for Gabby, we hope she's insulted by it.
Yeah.
No, I'm totally kidding. All right. I don't know what's going on, but all right. This has been predictions with all of us here, with Tally, Colby, Joe, and myself. If you have any predictions of your own, feel free to let us know, and I'll read them out loud. on
Don't
the
just keep
podcast.
them in your thoughts.
Don't keep them in your thoughts. Put them into my thoughts as well. But no, send in your thoughts, and we will get those out to the people so that the people know what you know. Also, let us know how you figured this out.
You can do what Nick DiPaolo says at the end. You think it, I'll say it.
Exactly.
Does anyone know who that is?
I have no idea who that is.
Boo! 44-year-old reference.
Oh, he's like 60-something, but he's one of the best stand-ups out there. Come on.
All right, one of the best
The
stand-ups.
44-year-olds are gonna love that one.
He's a little better than Matt Rife, people.
Oh yeah. him.
Okay, no, let's not even talk about that.
All right. Well, we appreciate